Welcome to HuntLeague, the ultimate platform for hunters to share their story, track their journey, and compete in leagues that celebrate the heart and grit of the hunting community. Every season, hunters push themselves to new limits at the gym, on the range, and in the wild. The HuntLeague app captures it all, preserving the moments that make every hunt unforgettable. This is a front row seat to the Sweet September League Finals, which is all about archery elk hunting. You might not be an archery elk hunter, but you can still get a lot out of this, and it may inspire you to compete in leagues like the Outdoorsman of the Year, Deer of the Year, Apex Predator, Western Hunter, Spring Turkey, Wild Food, or one of our many other leagues. At the end of each season, league participants can submit an application to become a finalist. From there, the competition heats up as a preliminary judges panel reviews every detail, leaderboard standings, daily challenges, and community involvement. In this particular league, 3 finalists were selected to present their incredible stories to a live judges panel. These finalists embody what it means to be an archery elk hunter. Our judges are hunters themselves, representing some of the best companies and people inside the outdoor industry. Their expertise and connection to the hunting world bring unparalleled insight to the panel. Now, the panel dives deep into each finalist's story. They discuss their hunts, challenges, and the journey that brought them to this moment before casting their votes to determine the league winner. Our league partners make this experience truly extraordinary. They partner with the HuntLeague app because they want to hear and celebrate your story, congratulate you in person, and equip you with the absolute best gear that will better prepare you for your next adventure. Download the HuntLeague app today and be a part of this incredible community and see where your next hunt can take you. So let's dive into the 2024 Sweet September League and meet some of our judges.
Wow. Thanks for having us. It's fun to hear the stories about the HuntLeague app and all the experiences that people have in September. Sweet September is what we're all about here at Mile High Note Game Calls. Mile High Note Game Calls has been around since 2013. So the kit that we're giving away, it's the Antagonizer grunt tube. Corey Jacobson picked that grunt tube last year as one of his favorite grunt tubes. Comes with a single reed and a double reed mouth call. Comes with a CD where I take you through a calling class and a case to put your calls in. We'll probably also throw in one of our custom external reed calls. It's called the Floozy, and it's an awesome call. People just love that call. We sell a lot of them, and so it's about $100 worth of elk calls when it's all said and done. We do have some new products coming out. We've introduced a new call line called the Legends of the Fall. This is kind of a new grunt tube we got coming out. We put a silicone mouthpiece on the end of that. We also put a really cool little pocket on the call so you can slide your reed into the pocket. And then we also came out with this little tube, and it's the same kind of design. We extended the end of the tube, dropped the rubber ring in the middle to cut down vibration. We also got the mouthpiece on there, same mouthpiece. And it's also got the pocket. You can get this right now.
That little thing packs a punch still.
It does, man. And it's light. It's short. Like if you look at the difference, I mean, it's half the size almost. So for guys that are packing in, it's a great thing. And you can get that on our website right now as well.
I'm Chris with Spot Hogg. I've been with Spot Hogg for almost 20 years now, probably. We've been building both sides for probably 22, 23 years. Made right here in Oregon. Everything's built in the USA. We pride ourselves in building the most durable, toughest, adjustable bow sights out there. This boonie that we are adding to the price pack is the culmination of several years of several sites that we've wanted to make changes to. Built into kind of one package is super highly modular sight, different mounting bars, different housings, pretty much whatever configuration you could think of, we can build it within this boonie sight. Single pin, double pin, triple stack, pick mounts, bridge lock, whatever. I mean, it's built to do whatever you want it to. I apologize, I don't have a bunch of stuff in front of me, but I do happen to have one of our interchangeable wheels. And this wheel right here allows you to run different arrow setups. You can put different sight tapes on different wheels. Like if you're going to shoot a lightweight arrow and get sighted in and have a faster tape, and you're going to move to a heavier weight arrow, rather than having to like peel the tape off or whatever, you can already have the different wheels set up with different tapes on them. Taking a tumble, dropping stuff out of a tree, whatever it may be, like that's something you shouldn't ever have to worry about with our stuff. You should build a count on a Spot Hogg site.
The winner of this league is also going to get to choose one of these fantastic releases. What's your go-to release?
The whippersnapper here. It's a 3-fingered open jaw hook style. I like the fact that I can feel my hook engaged through the loop and not be stuck to it. Being an elk hunter, like I'm always moving through the woods, so it's not like I've got it clipped on my string waiting for me. We have a couple of different options when it comes to handheld thumb trigger releases, open hooks, closed jaw, shorter necks, longer necks. We've got the Wise Guy. A lot of people are going to be really familiar with the Wise Guy. We've ran that release for quite a while now. It's probably our most popular stellar. With that, it's really about having a light, crisp trigger so that you're getting less deflection when you're actually engaging on the trigger and things like that.
Jared, thanks for having me again. I started in like 2017, but really started getting after it in like 2020. Went on an elk hunt out west and decided I loved it and was going to do it every year the rest of my life. And then brought pillowcases in my first time when I went elk hunting and realized like, man, I got to change this. So I made my own game bags, and that's where it started. I sell a lot of other stuff now. I made a thing called the Backcountry Boot Dryer. I've been selling that for a few years. I make elk and deer, bear, goat, sheep, whatever skull hangers. I just came out with a tabletop hanger. And then I got a bunch more stuff coming out. I have a really big release coming out at the expo.
I used your game bags this year. The first guy that you're going to get to talk to, Daniel, he got his meat off the mountain in a Grakksaw bag, so he's pretty excited.
Okay, that's my vote already. So number one wins.
I can see him off the screen, so you can't see him yet, but you'll get to meet him in a second. But he's sitting there holding up his Grakksaw bag right now in front of the cameras.
What an honor it is to have these men serve on the judges panel. These guys are leading amazing companies and are absolute elk nuts themselves. Tom from Mile High Note Game Calls has been a part of multiple leagues, and he is a world-class elk caller. This is Austin's second league to participate as a judge, and we are welcoming Chris from Spot Hogg into his first league championship. Now, I want you to meet our finalists from this year. We have Daniel Leonard, a whitetail hunter from Mississippi that drove 18 hours across the country to get to Colorado, where he went from 500 feet elevation to over 11,000 feet and harvested his first archery elk after 14 years and 7 failed attempts. Then we have a San Diego resident, Rich Mays, at 53 years old, who trained all year at the gym and at the range. He's hunted elk with his bow in multiple states, but has yet to fill a tag. In 2024, though, he won the elk lottery, drawing a coveted Arizona elk tag, and he was finally able to harvest his first bull. Now, our third finalist is a familiar face within the HuntLeague community, Wolfgang Troxel from Oregon. I mean, just his name alone is so dang cool. He's an accomplished bow hunter. He's the winner of the 2022 Chasing Roosevelt's League. Wolfgang recently started a business while raising his young family. Just days before the season opener, the area that he planned to hunt closed as a result of wildfires. His story is one of resilience and choosing to be a provider as he successfully harvested his first cow elk. So let's jump into these live interviews as our judges dive deeper into each of our finalist stories before they select a winner.
This is Daniel Leonard coming to you from Mississippi.
Hey, Daniel, this is Tom from Mile High Note Game Calls. Did calling play any role in your success this year?
Without a doubt, Tom.
Calling was absolutely key in my success.
Barely. By the time I got to where I could set up anything, I cow called. I just let out 3 quick mews, and she came in. I had a shot at her within a minute.
I'd only bugled one time. Just a few seconds later, the bull that I harvested walked out on the edge of the field. He came out, put his nose in the air, trying to figure out what was going on. And I mean, he just came in on a rope.
From day one, we were in elks. The elk would bugle, and then he would bugle, and then as it went on, I tried to get him to get a little more aggressive and start cutting them off, and that seemed to work tremendously. If it wasn't for John calling him in and raking and all that stuff, I probably wouldn't have been successful.
This was the first year, actually, in the last, I don't know, 4 or 5 years of not truly being able to call and have anything respond. I mean, I'm used to having something. It's just,
Sure.
it was just one of those seasons that it was just tough.
What was the single hardest moment of the hunt?
I actually had a fall, so I tripped, landed on my bow. Everything seemed okay. After that, went back to camp and found out that in fact my bow was off. So I had to re-sight in my bow completely on day one.
Honestly, the hardest part I had to deal with was just getting everything squared away at work and with the business. I had work scheduled for Labor Day. I had a bull on camera that night. That job got canceled Monday morning, and that was the day I ended up getting my cow. But that was the hardest part for me, was knowing I had a bull in there with those cows and I was going to work.
Did you have limited time this year to hunt? Is that why you decided to pull the trigger so quick?
I knew it was going to be limited because I just started up my excavation business this spring, and things were getting real busy, and September's definitely a busy time of year around here. I just decided that I should probably feed my family with whatever the option was.
What you said, 14 years or something?
Yeah,
For
14 years of just slugging it out.
Have you been out 14 straight years?
As far as bow hunting goes, I think this is the 7th bow hunting trip that I have been on. And honestly, it was shaping up to be another year of armed hiking, unfortunately, until until that very second.
Okay, well, that's a lot of years. I mean, that you definitely earned that bull.
Other than that, the hardest part was when I shot my elk. It wasn't like I just shot him and he fell over and we found him and it was great. I shot him at 4 in the afternoon. We started searching after 5 and did not find him that evening. So that was a pretty rough night. Started searching the next day, and it was pretty disheartening not finding him for hours. Not wanting to give up, but not finding the elk, and it's getting warm, and not being able to find him was pretty tough.
That's about the sickest feeling you can have when you're hunting.
What was your favorite moment of your hunt this year, Wolfgang?
Honestly, I think my favorite part was the text message from my wife that she had told the kids she thought I was going to get an elk. Seeing that text message from her, saying, "I told the kids I thought you were going to get one," it's a really good feeling to know that my family has that much confidence in my abilities as a provider for them.
My favorite moment in the hunt, I've got two pictures. One is my buddy Joseph. It was the first time he had ever seen a live elk in the field, and seeing his reaction in his face of "Holy smokes, he's coming!" That moment right there, and then us bear hugging each other, crying in the field. I mean, it was kind of this culmination of all the emotions hitting at one time. Back in the summer, Joseph Murphy shared with me that his father's 25th year anniversary of his death was the day that was this particular Wednesday. And I told him at that point, I was like, "Hey man, I think looking at the moon phases and all that, I really think this is going to be the day. I mean, it's going to be that." And so we just kind of started, what I say, kind of claiming that and walking in that. And sure enough, we had a moment that morning of celebrating the life of his dad, and then kind of bookended that night of us celebrating a tremendous harvest, and it was great.
Yeah, you said you started working out every day before your job at 5 a.m. That's pretty awesome. Shooting a bow, to me, that's enjoyable. But getting up at 5 a.m. and working out is not. So what was it that you did before the season that was the extra effort?
That would be it. I was actually this morning, woke up and I'm still going at it. So woke up at 4 something this morning and at the gym at 5 o'clock. put in a full day's work, and here I am right now. So I'm still at it. I know I need to keep my physical conditioning up if I want to stay in the game, because I'm not in my 20s, not in my 30s. I'm a little bit older, so yeah, just trying to keep up with the young kids, I guess, you know.
I pulled up Rich on the leaderboard. There's like these daily challenges because we were talking about the work that he's putting in. He's at 200 days on the year shooting his bow. When you look at the work that some of these guys are putting in year round, getting ready for these hunts, like that's why these are our finalists, because they are putting in the work.
Oh, I can't believe you had us come on here to be a judge and have to make this decision because realistically, like every one of those guys had a story that warranted being a winner.
They all had great stories, great dedication to the sport. I mean, Daniel with all of his time, not killing an elk, never giving up, and then finally getting the elk. And I really liked Wolfgang's, just putting meat in the freezer, trying to squeeze a hunt in with his busy schedule and his job. And, I love the fact that family is number one, and he's getting them involved and they're supporting him. And Rich, with his persistence at the end of the hunt, his willingness to come out of his shell, and his buddy helping him call. And
my thought process on who to decide, it was Daniels was, the length of how long he's been at it. That was like the main thing, and his excitability. You could tell how much it meant to him. The guy was grinning ear to ear. Like, he was so pumped. He'd worked so many years. He'd kept the faith. He finally did it with his bow. He talked about crying with his buddy after he killed it. That's awesome. So that's the point I had for Daniel. Rich was the daily discipline, and then at the very end of it, telling us his story about shooting the bull, wasn't the best shot, looked all night, rained, lost blood, went back, looked all day, grid searched, found it. Meanwhile, he's also in one of the best units where there's bulls probably all around him bugling. He could just leave at any time and go get another chance at another probably just as big bull. So that was amazing. And then Wolfgang, what you mentioned that he said about swallowing his pride, because swallowing his pride and ego, when he's an accomplished bow hunter, he's very successful, he does well. He had to swallow his pride and shoot that cow. That wasn't easy for him to do. He could have passed that cow up, and maybe he would have killed a bull, maybe he wouldn't. But he told himself that he was going to shoot the first elk, and he did. I don't think you could keep that guy down. I mean, 14 years, at least 7 of those with a bow. Like, man, the guy's been going after it, and then you could just tell he was beaming from ear to ear how excited he was about the whole thing.
The fact that he went 5 straight days without seeing or hearing an elk and like was still out there trying to get it done, like today is the day, and that's what it takes.
It would have been pretty easy for him to get disappointed and discouraged. And I liked his answer about his favorite part was sharing it with his friends and celebrating the life of his friend's dad and all that. That was pretty awesome. The big thing for me with Rich was just after the shot, just his persistence in finding that bull was pretty impressive. A lot of guys might give up, and he stuck with it. And I've been there a number of times, and man, when you find that elk after putting in that kind of hours and that kind of time, nobody wants to kill an elk that way, but man, you got to be proud of yourself for sticking with it and finding that bull.
Finding an elk without a blood trail is a lot of luck, really. I mean,
yeah,
and the fact that he just kept at it until he found it, I mean, that speaks volumes. So his willingness to take a guy that he really just got to know within the last year on this premium elk hunt and like hand that guy a bugle and be like, hey, let's go. Like, I need your help. When it comes to elk hunting, like people get pretty particular about who's calling, what's going on and things like that. And like, he was just like, yeah, let's go. And that I want to be more like that.
Another thing that was so impressive I thought about Rich was him being a landscaper, and especially late, from June on, his daylight hours are crazy. So he's working probably, you know, he's working crazy hours and he's still going to the gym before that. And he's still shooting. Like, man, that takes a lot of dedication and discipline to do that every single day. So my hat's off to him because that's impressive.
I like the fact that, you know, he talked about feeding his family, and one of his favorite things about his hunt was, you know, again, hearing from his family, including his family. That's big. I mean, that's, you know, getting the next generation involved. There's nothing better, I can tell you, from my standpoint, hunting with my son and hunting with my daughter and stuff. There's nothing better than that.
You can tell he takes pride in the post hunt. Well, he took pride in the pack out. It was a solo pack out. So that's always tough. So he took pride in that. That's awesome. And it is rewarding to finish that when you finally put the last load on your truck. And then I always do find it really cool when guys process every single thing. Like, okay, I did every single part of this OTC hunt from beginning to end. It's in the freezer. Now I can enjoy it. And I feel like that's like putting a bow on it, you know?
I love the fact that even after he ended up having to solo pack his elk out, that when his buddy called a few days later, like he was there. I mean, it's invaluable. Friends like that.
He also talked a little bit about, you know, the ethical shot and getting that quick, clean kill, which, you know, goes without saying a lot of times, but the fact he said it, you know, he really cares about the animal. He's really thinking about it expiring as fast as possible and just making the best shot.
How tough is this for you to choose a winner?
Hey, Jared, I'd appreciate if you don't ask me to judge again because I thought I knew who I was going to vote for, and now I don't know who I was going to vote for. I hate this, man. I feel like I'm betraying one of these guys. It's tough.
It's as hard as it is on The Voice, man. When you hear the show The Voice and they're trying to send people home, you know, it's like, man, it's heartbreaking because they all deserve it.
Deciding one over the other was next to impossible. Hands down, like each one of them, the story was a winner. Congratulations, Rich. You're the 2024 Sweet September winner. On behalf of Spot Hogg, we'd like to get you the Booney side of choice as well as a new release. Hopefully you can put it to work next year when you draw that awesome Colorado tag.
Hey, Rich, it's Austin from Grakksaw. Congratulations on being the 2024 Sweet September champ for HuntLeague. Before and after, you maintained a high level of discipline and perseverance. That's what won me over. I'm giving you, or Grakksaw, we're giving you game bags, boot dryers, skull hangers, whatever you need.
All right. Congratulations, Rich. On behalf of Mile High Note Game Calls, you're the man. You did it. The story was awesome. Your tenacity at the end of the hunt is what took it over the top for me. You know, I know you didn't call the elk in, but your buddy did. And the stuff that you guys did with the calls in the first year, I was really impressed with. You're getting a calling kit from me. You got everything there to become a great caller. So it's your turn to call now for your buddy. And, you know, if you ever have any questions, you know where to find me. I'm always willing to answer any questions on calling or helping you get to be a world-class caller. So congratulations again on winning the Sweet September prize, buddy. Great job.
Congratulations, Rich Mays. Thank you for being a part of the HuntLeague community and being a part of the Sweet September League. We are building something incredibly special inside the HuntLeague app, and I want to invite you to jump in. Start logging your daily challenges, your scouting trips, and your hunts. We have multiple leagues that are active right now inside the HuntLeague app, with others about to begin here in the new year. If you need help getting started or you have any questions about the HuntLeague app or our leagues, leave a comment or shoot me an email at support@huntleague.com. Thanks for watching. Subscribe to the channel for more league updates and hunt-related content, and best of luck to you as you head out on your next hunting adventure.